Now, the upcoming Lil Peep case, gotta speak on this one. This is actually something I touched on a while ago, 2019 to be specific. Do you remember that lawsuit that was filed against Peep's old management by Lil Peep's mother? Well, it's still ongoing, and there's actually an official trial date now, and a couple other things to talk about. So yeah. Let's talk about it. Now, like I said, this Lil Peep lawsuit was actually filed by Lil Peep's mother, Liza, back in 2019. And the reasoning for that lawsuit is this. Liza Womack, the mother of Gus, professionally known as Lil Peep, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Peep's old management, and this is some of the things it consists of. In the complaint that was filed by Peep's mom, she states that in the 24 hours before Lil Peep's death, he allegedly told his tour managers that he didn't want to perform, and they allegedly told him that he would have to get sick, so the insurance policy would cover the canceled show. Liza also allegedly stated that his management encouraged Peep to take drugs, such as Xanax. Lil Peep was apparently stressed, overwhelmed, burnt out, exhausted, and physically unwell. Despite that, his managers allegedly kept on pushing him on stage after stage in order to get the job done. So the case that's being made here is that his management, the people who are supposed to look out for his best interests, were actually neglecting his state. Not only that, but like I said, he was allegedly encouraged to take drugs by them. That's pretty much what the lawsuit is based on, and Liza is adamant about getting justice for her son. The management did respond to this lawsuit in the past, describing it as groundless and offensive, so they're obviously pushing back on this. Liza did an interview with Pitchfork the other day where she was explaining why she was going through with this entire lawsuit, so let's check out the specific segment I'm referring to. I want justice for Gus, she says on this part right here. That's why I'm doing this. Whatever form it takes, what I'm looking for is for people to be held accountable for their behavior. Womack says she also filed her lawsuit because she's worried about other young artists being exposed to pressures they're unequipped to handle. Liza also got asked this: if people do take notice of your lawsuit, what kind of change do you hope this accomplishes? She responded with saying, the music business is a big thing and I can't pretend to change it, but I feel it's important for them to know that people aren't gonna just walk away and give up. You can't give up. It's your kid. Something else she got asked by Pitchfork: are there moments that you feel like walking away? She responded saying, never. No. I've had 2 strokes and I'm not gonna die until I take care of this matter. I'm gonna live. I have a mission. Last but not least, they also asked her this: do you feel like at the end of this, you'll feel any sense of closure? They asked Liza. She responded saying, closure is not the word that describes it. If people are held accountable for their actions, I feel that justice has been done. You learn to live with the pain and you're a different person, because when your child dies, the person that you were dies too. But I will be glad and I hope to feel satisfaction. The trial for this upcoming Lil Peep case is set to go down later this year, November 10th to be specific. So the upcoming Lil Peep case is a real thing. Things have been quiet ever since this lawsuit got filed back in 2019, so myself, I wasn't actually sure if it was going to continue or how this case was going to go forward. Liza Womack is obviously, as you could hear, determined to make this right. Her perspective of her son's death is that he was encouraged by his management to medicate with pills. He wasn't feeling good. He wanted to, at one point, it looks like, not continue with the tour he was on during that time because he was feeling burnt out and exhausted. The management allegedly insisted on the fact that he had to keep the train going, so to speak. Liza wants anyone who has or might have been involved in her son's death to be held accountable for their behavior, and that's what's going on here. Do I think Liza is gonna win this legal battle against her son's management? It depends on a couple things, and the way I'm looking at this, it has to be proven somehow without any kind of reasonable doubt that the management was in fact pushing Lil Peep to the edge, so to speak. The allegations they're up against, obviously very serious. I mean, getting accused of neglecting your own artist's well-being and encourage them to take illicit drugs like Xanax, knowing that they're physically unwell, very serious allegations. Now, there's apparently text messages that have been included in this lawsuit of Peep's management where it appears that they offered him Xanax and ketamine. An entertainment lawyer by the name of Amy Breyer, I think that's how you say it, she looked over this case and said the following about the text messages: that's going to be very challenging for the defense. It puts them in the position of making a very unsympathetic argument that he was an adult and if he wanted to do this, it's his business. I would be surprised if that kind of argument really wins the day. So these text messages that supposedly are in the lawsuit, they're in favor of Liza's argument and in fact validated. I'm also looking over this entire situation and asking myself, if hypothetically speaking, Liza wins this legal battle, apart from the monetary side of things, as in money she's most likely gonna collect if she wins, what's gonna happen from a grand scheme perspective? I'm referring to the kind of impact this kind of case could have on the music industry as a whole. The entertainment lawyer, Amy, I brought up a second ago, offered her perspective on this. Breyer suggests that Peep's case could be a rare moment of accountability for the industry when it comes to substance abuse. There may may really be an opportunity for a sea change, she says. What Amy is saying is that a case like this could have a real impactful effect on the music industry as a whole when it comes to the accountability conversation. This lawsuit is obviously Peep's mother doing everything she can to hold Peep's management accountable for what she's alleging they did to her son. Now, Lil Peep was an artist in the music industry whose addiction was intensified by the kind of industry he was in. Peep was singing, rapping, and just generally speaking talking about a lot of the demons he was facing, and one of those demons was addiction, right? Now, how did his environment, the music industry, affect that demon? The internal battles Peep was facing is the kind of struggle I think every artist in the music industry can relate to. A lot of artists nowadays, especially rappers, run away from that mental struggle, the battle, those demons by medicating with all kinds of stuff. Could their addiction be amplified and even encouraged by their management? And see, the thing is, if Liza walks away with a W on this one, this is for sure going to start a lot of conversations within the industry. I think that could potentially, if anything, create a better ecosystem and just environment in general for artists who are in this business to get properly looked out for. That part right there, very important, because Liza clearly feels like her son wasn't properly looked out for. If everything in this lawsuit turns out to be true, because at the moment these are allegations so nothing has been settled yet, if it turns out to be true and Liza wins this legal battle, it's going to benefit the artists, especially the young ones who are currently in the music industry. And you may be wondering exactly how. Well, if the people who are working with and around these artists, let's say the management, if they can legally be held accountable for the things that might happen to the artists they're working with, if they're not looking out for the artist's best interests, or even worse, they hypothetically speaking encourage them to take drugs like Liza was alleging the management did to Peep, we now come to a place where you can be held accountable for these things. This is obviously only if something happens to the artist, right? It's gonna make a lot of the people who are working in the music industry stay on their P's and Q's. The result of this could pretty much be that there's now an emphasis on looking out for the artist. That's clearly Liza's intention with this lawsuit as far as I can see it. Keep in mind though, there can't be any doubts about it. So as an example, in this Peep case, Liza is most likely not gonna win this legal battle if there's too much ambiguity regarding if they, the management, really did all the things this lawsuit is alleging. This is truly a one-of-a-kind type of case. I've never seen anything like this going on in the music industry as far as a lawsuit, so ain't no telling how it's gonna go. The outcome is very unpredictable, and I'm obviously basing that off of what the public knows, because I bet there's way more we don't know yet. Anyway, like I said, the trial date for this case is currently set for November. I'm going to be all over this when that time comes. Until then, there you have it. But yeah, the upcoming Lil Peep case. Any thoughts on this entire thing? Liza Womack, the mother of Lil Peep, is currently fighting an ongoing legal battle to get justice for her son. With the information we have, where do you personally stand on this case so far? Definitely let me know in the comment section below, and let's have a discussion about this.